Hey and welcome to Neverwinter with Aragon. So we have a new patch this Thursday on PC, and with it comes a good few quality of life improvements. So firstly, I'd like to give a special thank you to all of my channel members for helping me keep my channel going. So the first thing you may notice if you're interested in grinding out the Vault of Stars on other characters is it now should be account wide. No longer do you have to go and grind out this campaign to actually unlock it. You can see I can queue for it if I have the required item level, and you can see we don't have Sharandar, the Iron Tooth, grinded out to 225, as that is what you would have to normally do, and you'd have to do it on each of your characters just to unlock this dungeon, unlike any of the other ones. Every other dungeon was account wide. Thankfully they finally went copped on and made Vault of Stars also account wide. When you go and level up and you hit level 10, you'll get one of these achievements stating that you've managed to get your character up to that level. Then with regards to one of the quests where you need to go and complete about those shimmering lockboxes, I believe it was when you completed VoS, and you might have had a bug where you weren't able to continue it on. That would have been just very frustrating for some of you guys. That should be fixed by now. And also those of us who have unlocked the gardens just up here, you should be able to now fully access them. And within this Moonstone Mask, the Joaquin Merchant should no longer be available. As we can see in the preview server right here, she's no longer located right here, and she'll only be there when the event of Coins of Joaquin is actually active. Now with regards to this bard and using a different keyboard, the AZERTY, if you were using that layout, there was some bug where when you went to play these songs you weren't able to like walk left or something. That should be now fixed. They've also made it so that the mount combat power from the Manticore, the Tailspin, and also the Gust of Wind from the Wand of Wonder, they should no longer ignore CC immunity from enemies, so you shouldn't be able to push them around with those anymore. Also, this rejuvenating favor that you can see, let's say on this Griffin mount, should now actually give you percentage of your hit points. And this will then scale with your item level as do other mount powers do. And this is instead of having that as magnitude increase of your hit points, it's now based on your total maximum. Now when you went and made a character and it was one of these drows, either the normal drow with its dark fire or the Menzoberranzan renegade, they had fairy fire, and this now actually has a 10% chance to proc instead of what it was before, a 5% chance. And also these were bugged that they didn't actually work. This should reduce the enemy's defense, thus making it that everybody who hits them will actually deal more damage. Same with the Renegade. However, it will just reduce it by 3% and the damage of their attacks by 3%. This means the Drow is definitely a very good class to be running when you are, let's say, trying to buff even more. You would reduce the enemy's defense and thus increase the damage that your allies will deal. Within the Infernal Citadel, you have the last boss, who is the Hellfire Engine. They went and changed his HP, so it should be a lot less now, so it should be easier. And they've also went and fixed the door in your Lair of Lost Mouth, so that it should no longer be like warped by 90 degrees, which just made it look really odd. With regards to this bard, you will now actually be able to open this Grey Cloak's Legacy Pack, as I cannot right now. And players who purchased those packs where you could obtain the Star Rover gear, you were only able to obtain one of the pieces, and now that should be able to be claimable for free, that you'll be able to obtain all the other pieces as well, without having to buy, let's say, more of those packs. So that could be useful, especially if somebody doesn't have those Star Rovers bracers for DPS. Now in the Zen store here, they've actually taken out a few things and moved them over to the Wondrous Bazaar. We can see on the preview server here, when we look in the Wondrous Bazaar, we can now purchase these character loadout slots for Astral Diamonds, along with appearance change tokens and rename tokens. The prices are still pretty high, but at least you can now purchase them with Astral Diamonds rather than Zen, meaning a free-to-play player will much easier be able to obtain these quality of life improvements, and in my opinion, that's a great thing. You may also notice on your character sheet that the ability scores have been condensed a little bit, so now they're up here just in one row, and you can see also here they have a bit of a new icon. We still will display all of the same text there within the tooltip, so it should be still very clear of what's going to contribute to what. You may also notice in the leaderboard for PvP that has now been removed from what it is on the live server currently, where you have this overview and you can see your season rewards. Since PvP seasons have been disabled, this is no longer being able to be obtained, so they've just kind of removed it visually. When you load up the game just from the launcher at the beginning, you should now see a new fancy background screen for the Cryptic Studios logo. You shall also notice when you go and cast your powers and things, it won't give you a text anymore if you, let's say, activate a certain power that would trigger, let's say like Baneful Strikes on the Paladin. That won't display up anymore. In some situations it's unfortunate, but you can always go and turn that back on again. This show player triggered power names. On default it will be off, so make sure to turn it on if you still want to have those powers triggering up, and you'll be visually able to see them while in combat and fighting. Can be handy if you're relying on a power to proc and then do corresponding other things to activate it. And finally, when you open your inventory, if you have, let's say, low internet or a PC that doesn't handle things very well, then it shall give you less lag if you have your inventory at kind of a smaller size, so it doesn't show everything in your inventory. This is particular when your inventory has a lot of different items. So if you have a lot of items and you initially open your inventory, it shouldn't give you that lag, because it's loading up all the visuals for all of these different items that, let's say, you don't even see. And that's pretty much it for this patch. Really going to look forward to those quality of life improvements. If you need to purchase character loadouts, you can now do so for Astral Diamonds. The same with changing your character's appearance, along with renaming your character. Also, last thing to note is, after today's patch, the summer festival shall be gone. Now, I'm unsure if the vendor for all of these different items is going to stick around or not, so try and make sure you spend those currencies before it goes. And along with that, we shall be also able to access a new event, or take advantage of a new event, which is going to be our Dungeon Delver's Delight, which fortunately shall be active for 2 weeks. So we'll have plenty of time to take advantage of it, of doubling the likelihood of getting those premium drops. I'll put a list on screen here right now of what different items you can obtain, from like companion upgrade tokens to scrolls of life, all the way up to even legendary mounts dropping from those chests. Hopefully you get lucky, and we'll see how it goes. I definitely recommend grinding out the more difficult content. They do say, and the post is kind of outdated at this point, that these premium drops come from dungeons that are not part of the leveling dungeons. Not quite sure what that means now anymore, since a lot of these dungeons are access to level 5, so potentially they're not going to contribute, but I believe they still do. Otherwise, the safest bet is to go into these advanced dungeons along with these epic trials, since they're all capped at level 20. We'll have to see whether those extra drop rates or those improved drop rates are going to occur on these other lesser dungeons and skirmishes or not. So hopefully this is somewhat helpful to you guys. Anyway, if I presented this well, consider leaving the video a like, and if you're new around here, consider subscribing. See you guys around. Goodbye for now.